You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.
And welcome back to Guitar Talk. I am Dave.
And this is your well-fed host, John Bingham.
And today, we're going to discuss building with glue. No.
Sniffing glue.
Right.
Oh, how was the weekend?
It was good. It was really good. I went to Foxwoods, and I saw the Dan Band play.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that last week.
And they were great. It was great. And it was really funny because what happened was after the show, we were like, I said, hey, let's go check out the other casino. It's about 18 minutes, 20 minutes drive away. Right. But they have a Krispy Kreme, and I haven't had a Krispy Kreme in about 7 or 8 years. What's that?
15 minutes.
No. No, I haven't had one in 8 years, 7 or 8 years. And so she was like, yeah, let's go. So she never been to Krispy.
Was it all you remembered?
Oh, it was the best. It was the hot light was on. It was right. Like I took a bite, it's like your eyes roll back in your head like a shark. You're like, this is ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was the great.
I've heard that that's the way to have Krispy Kreme. I've had Krispy Kreme a few times. I've never had it hot, and it's never been incredible. I'm just like, meh.
Oh, no, piping hot. It's a different experience. It is like, there was a line, and they took it right off the conveyor belt. It was nuts. Anyway, so then we start walking around, and I hear a band playing, and I'm like, hey, let's go watch the band for a minute. So we get close to the bar, and the band is all the way, like, maybe another 50 feet, 50 yards. It was far. They were all the way to the back of the bar. But I can see the bass player, and he's a buddy of mine from high school.
Oh, no kidding.
So I'm like, oh, we got to go and say hello. That's a buddy of mine. So then we hung out with the band for a bit, watched them, and it was fun. We had a good time.
So the band's on stage mid-song. You're in the front row screaming, Steve! Steve!
No.
And he's like,
no.
I'm trying to play my song here.
No.
Pay attention!
What was funny was we kind of walked towards the front, and he's playing bass, looking out at the crowd. Finally, he gets to me, he stops, and then he points. He's like, what the fuck? Because it's an hour and a half away from where he lives and where I live. So I was just like, hey man, what's up? It was good.
Do you guys see each other on the regular these days, or is it like somebody that like you literally were like, I think I went to high school with that guy?
Oh no, he's friends with me on Facebook.
Okay.
I ran into him once before, maybe 4 years ago, and I saw his band like 6 years ago.
Oh, okay, got it.
Actually, I saw his band when I was coming out here to visit. When I wasn't even here, I was just visiting here. And we sat and talked after a while, and he's a good guy. Good guy. I went to high school with him. He's a grade before me, and yeah, so somebody that I know. No, his name's Jim.
Oh, got it.
That was a good guess.
Yeah, well, could be.
Yeah, I'm yelling Steve. He's like, that asshole doesn't remember my name.
Oh, that sounds good. I did nothing musically related this weekend that revolved around me.
Oh, really?
No, I did. I bought a guitar for my daughter.
Oh, yes, you were saying that.
That was cool, and she's getting excited about playing, and every night she's asking me to teach her something. So, as you can imagine, I'm swelling with pride that one of the two of them wants to do something with it. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited.
That's awesome.
Cool. I taught her how to read tablature yesterday.
Wow.
I mean, it's easy.
No, I understand that, but it's a foreign language to somebody else.
Right. But I'm curious how you go about teaching, because I know you teach, how you go about teaching younger kids and what your process is, because when I used to teach, I never had younger kids. The youngest I would have would be like, a 12 or 13. But now I've got a 7 who's interested in learning, and clearly she's got her physical limitations, and I can't swear at her in the middle of the lesson like I would the 13-year-olds. You piece of shit. You fret the right effing fret. No.
Right, yeah.
So I'm curious what your process is.
For young kids, they're almost like little sponges as well. I mean, I think anybody under like 13 is pretty much like just trying to absorb everything. And I start with like 3 chords. I teach them the G chord, which is the what I call the G5 chord.
Hey, watch yourself.
What's that?
You'll get it when you go back and edit.
This? Oh,
you show up on the screen and you're like that.
Oh, I tell kids all the time, when they put the wrong finger, I'm like, no, give me the finger.
That's right.
That's the other thing is I try not to think of them as kids because I think they like it better when you talk to them just as normal people would or their friends would. So I try not to be like I try to be fun about it or else I would talk to people. But so I would start with the G chord. You know the one I'm talking about? It has the one that has your pinky and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd string.
Of course.
And I start with that chord because then I can move the bass note from the low G to the C, and now they're playing a C add 9.
Right.
Then I move the 1 finger to the D sus4. So right out of the gate, I'm teaching them 3 chords. And the 4th chord, of course, is going to be the E minor 7, which is that version of that as well, which is just you put it on you put your 1st finger on the B of the 2nd string, of the 5th string, and play all 6 strings, and you have an E minor 7. And that way I can start to get into them songs, and they get comfortable just strumming songs.
Right.
And that's really the first maybe 4 to 5 lessons is working out how many songs we can go over that share those chords.
That's cool. Okay.
Because then they feel like they're accomplishing something and they start learning songs. And then I'm like, now let's learn a real C. And we start learning what's the D, the regular D. And we start adding in the real stuff, but I already have them playing songs. That to me keeps them playing, because as a kid, for me, I remember strumming along chords, and then the guy never gave me songs. And I'm like, when am I going to learn songs? I don't care about it. And you don't, and kids don't. So if your daughter's picking up the guitar and she's playing, heard it from a friend who, next chord, heard it from a friend who, the D chord, heard it from another you, then they're like, this is great. And then the next song you're doing with them, you're doing, you could do Wonderwall. You could do any of those songs that feature those 4 chords, and that you could take them into maybe into 3 months with that. What gets cool about it is they get really good at strumming chords and figuring where the next chord's supposed to come in on the downbeats and where the rhythm is. And then they move on to, damn, I got to start learning chords. And then they learn more chords, and then it becomes infectious, if you will. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying.
It makes a lot of sense.
It's what I do to keep people interested. And
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I showed her last night how to get tablature. It went over great.
Yeah.
She picked it up quickly. I mean, it's such a simple system. It's so simple. I think the thing that most kids will mess up at first if they're not taught the right way is they will flip the relationship of the strings. They'll think, I'm looking at the top line of the tablature. That's got to be the top string of the guitar. And I think they flip that around.
My problem with tablature and anyone when I'm teaching is tablature is teaching bad habits, because they write the scales out in the weirdest places, because whoever's writing it's learning the song, and they're like, oh, okay, this is this. And they're not thinking about it from like a position. When I was a kid, I tried learning Yngwie through tablature. And I was like, this guy, how the hell is he moving from this to this? And what is he possibly doing? And when I was about 22, I took a few lessons from Joe Stump, who was like the Yngwie guy at Berkeley. Yeah. And boy, I was like, oh, it's just that? Like, here's how I learned that A minor scale walking down. And he looked at me and he was like, that's ridiculous. That's not the way Yngwie is playing it. Now, when I watch Yngwie play it, I can see it. I see it all the time. I see his playing is just playing the way that I was taught from this guy, not from the tab, which would have been an arduous task, if you will.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I have against tab.
Right.
And also, like, a lot of times, like, it doesn't tell you, like, you could sit there and play a song and you'd be like, oh, okay, God, where's this going? And you don't realize, oh, it's just a C shape and a minor shape. If you look at a song like Jamaica by Led Zeppelin, it's like, boom, 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 you know what I mean? It's like just follows the shapes of chords. But if you look at it in tab, you're like, what the hell is it? It's like becomes a tough task.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think it would be good for her to know how to read music.
Oh, of course.
This is just a step because in my opinion, it was like, okay, how do I get her to be able to read a simple piece of music where I don't have to sit there and every time she thinks that she needs to play an exercise or a form or something, that I have to like correct all of her finger movements. She can look at it and she can kind of piece it together herself where it needs to go when I have other obligations to do, dinner and laundry and all the crap that comes along with being a grown-up.
Sure.
But ultimately, I think chord charts are going to be important. I also think tab is kind of helpful toward learning chord charts because she's going to be able to picture the lines now as individual strings.
Sure. I mean, tab is just another tool. I'm just saying, sometimes it does have some negative stuff to it.
I totally agree. It also does not help you with feel or with timing. Rarely people ever write something out that has good timing. So,
right. I mean, the people that write the tab is just, but also, learning some music theory is good for her. But to me, it's more like just get her playing some, start on the Beatles or the Eagles or whatever you listen to yourself that carries those types of, like if I said, hey, you only listen to metal, I would say, all right, teach her Children of the Damned by Iron Maiden or something of that ilk where it's acoustic and has like a flowing chords just so she could. But like, see, for me, like I have like a 15-year-old that I'll be teaching later today. And she, at this point, really she started with just learning Green Day. That's all she wanted to do was Green Day. But now she likes playing so much that she's a sponge on anything I'm willing to teach her. So I'll be like, today we're going to learn this song. She's like, I don't know that song. And I'm like, I know. And now you're going to learn. And we listen to it. And she's like, oh, okay, I want to learn that. Yeah. Because it's cool. You figure there's chords in there and she'll hear like we did Telephone Line not Telephone Line. We did Living Thing by ELO. And she was just like, oh, what's, she heard in the song that it changes keys for a second. And then also at the end, it hits an augmented chord and it has a different sound. And people are like, ooh, I want to learn that. What is that? Because then they use it later. And they remember that stuff too. They remember like, oh, that's the chord from this song. Do you listen to the Eagles at all, or
yeah, a little bit?
Okay.
It's not usually something that she's listening to in the car,
right?
It's funny. These kids, for whatever reason, have gravitated toward. I wouldn't necessarily call it arena rock, but they've kind of gravitated toward that. Like I go through I listen to metal a lot because that's kind of my thing. But I've also shown them everything from the 70s and the 80s. Like they've heard Zeppelin and they've heard Black Sabbath and most of the stuff that I like from the 80s, like, King's X and all that sort of thing. For whatever reason, the two bands that these kids ask for the most when we're driving.
Can I guess one?
Yeah.
AC/DC.
No.
Wow.
And I've showed them AC/DC endlessly because I listen to it all the time.
Oh, because I know a lot of kids that love
so good.
Zoe's really into AC. Like she loves AC/DC. I think.
Well, Zoe's cooler than my kids.
Go ahead. What are they listening to?
All right. So they will ask me for King's X.
By the way, Zoe's cooler than her father. Richard never
true.
listened to AC/DC.
So they ask for King's X all the time, which is shocking to me that they're asking for King's X because it's not your standard fare. It's not easy 1, 2, 3, 4 music. There's a lot going on.
Sure.
Kaylee will flat out tell you that she likes the vocals because there's so many harmonies and things that are going on.
Uh-huh.
So it's funny. So they ask for that a lot, and the other one they ask for a lot is Mr. Big, which is like,
right, but you do.
Of
but
all,
you do realize this is your doing. This is not because they're gravitating to it. This is because you've played it in the car or wherever you were with them. And it is, yeah.
Of course. But my point is they've also heard and probably heard more the Slayer and Pantera and I mean you could name it. White Lion, White Snake. You could name No, we don't go down Wait. The only White Lion song I ever throw on is Little Fighter, because that guitar solo is insane.
Vito Bratta.
Daddy's got to listen to that guitar solo, you know what I mean? Kid. That guitar solo is so well put together.
It's Vito, right?
Yeah. There's a couple of solos out there that I like. I don't really listen to the bands, but every once in a while I'll just say I got to put that song on because
isn't Vito Bratta really like a Van Halen type of? Isn't he the kind of player that if he were hanging out with us, he'd be like, "All right, we get it. You like Van Halen."
A little bit, yeah. But that particular solo is outstanding.
I'll have to look it up. What's the name of the song? Because we'll look it up.
Little Fighter.
Little Fighter by White Lion. That'll go on my car today.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say the word that I want to say because you're not allowed to say it these days. But it's lame. We'll say it's lame. The song, you know.
Oh, it is. It's not a good song.
It's White Lion. What songs of theirs are good?
Oh, none.
Yeah, it's like Extreme. It's like you don't want to listen to Extreme, but every once in a while, Nuno's got a moment, and you're like, holy hell.
Well, Nuno's a great player. Gary Sharon's voice to me is like
ruins it.
Yeah, that is like if music is a gorgeous woman, Gary Sharon's voice is Roseanne Barr naked.
It's like you see this phenomenal looking woman with a great ass from behind. She turns around, she's stunningly beautiful until you get up to the face and you realize that she's a terrible meth addict and she's got these scabs and missing teeth.
All right, so let me see what album this is. A Fight to Survive, is that the name of the song?
No, it's called Little Fighter.
Oh, Little Fighter. Let me see
it's a killer guitar solo.
Here it is. It's on the Big Game album.
You should just dump it into this episode so everybody can hear it.
Add to playlist. I'm putting it on a playlist, and I'm going to call it Solos.
The solo from Get the Funk Out from Extreme is outstanding too. But that's the only time I'd ever put on Extreme is just that song. Just forward it to the solo.
The problem with that song, though,
the kids is Gary Sharon and the fake
horn. No. The problem with that song is it's called Get the Funk Out, and it has the most unfunky groove to it. It's like, and he's like, come on, Patrick, not bad for basically a white guy. It's like, it's horrendous. There's nothing funky about the damn song. Is his name Patrick? I don't even know if that's the guy's name.
Hell, I don't know. Anyways, we're way off on a tangent, but you should hear the solo in that song too. But anyways,
what's the solo in the song? Is it Get the Fun? No, hold on. There's It's a Monster.
It's a Monster.
That's the one with the solo that I think is crazy good.
I don't know what one that is. Yeah, I remember It's a Monster. I'll listen to it. But anyway. Yeah, so if I throw on, like, another act, I like Alison Krauss a lot. I listen to Union Station, right?
Awesome.
They don't give a shit. I put it on in the car. We listen to the Lucky One, which is amazing.
Off of the New Favorite album, which I love that album.
Yeah, and
New Favorite's great on that album. Yeah, that's grounds for punishment, in my opinion.
The other one,
I would make her go to a room without dinner.
Exactly. You don't like Alison Krauss?
You go to your room immediately, young lady.
Exactly. I've shown her what's the tune that Brad Paisley did with her? Whiskey Lullaby?
Oh, written by Whispering Bill Anderson.
Yeah, I showed her that song. She did like that song, and she requests that one on occasion.
You know, Whispering Bill Anderson is on repeats of the 70s, late 70s Password Plus.
I don't know
what
that
the
is.
big caller. Oh, come on. Alan Ludden, Betty White's ex-husband?
Nope.
I say ex-husband because he's been dead since 81. Oh, fantastic show.
This one is for Peter Griffin and Tony Randall. The password is flaming. You. Actor. You. Tony. You.
Anyway, so this is the stuff my kid is into. She also told me that she wants to learn the guitar part for You Gotta Fight for Your Right.
Horrendous.
I figure that's a pretty easy first song, though. You're just going,
yeah, it is totally.
A-C-D, A-C-D,
right.
G-A, do.
It's a great song until she starts going, Dad, what's porno mag?
We've already covered it.
Okay.
We've already covered it.
Your mom threw away your best porno mag. Bow, down, down.
Oh, my God.
That's when you yell at her and you're like, we're learning how to play it. We don't learn lyrics.
You'd be pissing yourself if you were in the passenger seat of the car and the kids are in the back seat anytime music is playing. Because as soon as the hook to a song comes on that they like, it's like all of a sudden there's 2 additional harmony voices that kick on, boom, from the back seat.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, and it's always off, you know?
Yeah.
But,
that's so funny, though.
Ewan surprisingly sings pretty well in key, and she doesn't.
I was in the car with Zoe when they came to visit a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And I started bringing up songs, and she knew every song. I'm like, how do you know all these songs? She's like, it's yacht rock. Because it's all Ariel listens to in the car.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but what was funny was she's like, what does your funk band play? What's funk music? I said, you know, songs like, well, you wouldn't know them, but like Blame It on the Boogie. She's like, I love that song. And she starts going, don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. I was like, how the hell do you know that song? I'm like, we're trying to play the rare songs like that people like that have missed people. And she's like singing it. She's like, oh, we sang it in camp. I'm like,
that's
genius
amazing.
Camp. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
That's funny.
I was like, yeah, she
what
knows every. I don't even know.
Okay. So RL's the yacht rock guy.
He loves yacht rock. No, you know, see, the last time that Regan and I talked music, like I know Regan loves the End of Innocence album.
Ooh.
When that album came out, that was the record for her.
End of the Innocence was written by Bruce Hornsby.
Indeed it was. There's a lot of great songs on that album. Heart of the Matter.
Heart of the Matter is a good one, yeah.
In a New York Minute.
Right.
It was a great record. Great record. No,
I had to tell Kaylee what they were talking about in New York Minute too.
Yeah.
Man got up, dressed all in black. Yeah, the whole beginning. She's like, "Why did he never come back?" And I was like,
"Don't ever listen to She Bop by Cyndi Lauper. You'll get yourself in a quandary."
Oh, hey, let me show you that guitar that I picked up for her.
Oh yes, yeah, please.
To some of you old timers out there, this is gonna be bad because it's got a pointy headstock. And I know that's against everything you believe in. So we got her this puppy right here. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me back up.
Oh, it's great. It looks like almost like a mini soloist.
Yeah. Little cool bolt-on neck. The design of the bolt-on is just like that of the modern guitars that they're doing. They're doing this weird 3-bolt thing these days, even on the upper end guitars. I don't know why they're doing that, but the guitar's cool. You know, you got your 2 humbuckers. Pretty simple.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
And where's that made in? I see the back.
It's made in China.
Ah.
As to be expected for that price point.
I love when it says, it was crafted in China. This guitar was designed in the United States, but crafted in China.
This was crafted with care.
Yeah, it's a really cool guitar.
By a pair of
and it looks like what? It's like a half size or a 3/4 size. It looks like a half.
They call it 2/3 size, and its scale length. The scale length is 22.5.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like a Jaguar type of.
Yeah, but the body's quite a bit smaller and everything.
Right.
It's closer to fitting her, but yeah, it's funny. I brought it home. Snuck it in the house so she couldn't see me working on it, and I did I did all the stuff that I would do to one of my own guitars to make it like primo, tip top. So I did the fret ends, I did the whole fingerboard thing, did everything to it, optimized where the pickup height was, made sure everything was intonated, put D'Addario's on it, and it's still in tune. This morning.
Nice. And when did you give it to her?
Just yesterday afternoon.
Oh wow! When was her birthday? Was it for her birthday or just?
No, it's just to capitalize on the momentum right now.
Sure.
Because she's interested, and
yeah,
she spent a good 2-3 weeks picking up my guitars every day and asking me to learn chords and this and that. So at this point, she knows E minor and she knows A minor and she knows a standard E, and she knows power chords.
Sure.
So, some of the little things that we're rolling along with, but I do like your idea about giving her the G.
The C add 9. You call it a G over C.
Yeah, the G to C, just where you have that moving root note.
Right.
That concept is a good one, and I'm going to do that. I'll show her that today.
Yeah, because it makes them move along, and you can show songs. You got what's that? That Poison song that uses every rose has its thorn.
Right.
It's just the moving the G to the C. Whatever. I don't know one lyric to that song. And
you got them all right.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought I was making them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great guitar. And so hold that up one more time. Let the people here see what is something like that. What did that cost?
Dude, it's $149.
Wow.
You got the shark tooth inlays, the pointy headstock for the blues players who are interested in that sort of thing.
Right. Just has a standard bridge, nothing moving, which is good for a beginner.
No tremolo, just a simple volume tone, 3-way switch, 2 humbuckers.
Yep. Hardtail, yeah.
And the things that are in on they're jump. They put 6100s on it.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, so they
got and just also she won't be allowed to go to any blues jams because she has a pointy headstock, and they're very harsh against pointy headstock guitars.
Right. It's got closed gear die-cast sort of tuners, which is cool.
Yeah.
And the truss rod works because before I left the store, it had a slight back bow in the neck, and I said, we need to take the back bow out of the neck because I'm not going to buy it if the truss rod doesn't work, and you never know on a super cheap guitar.
Never know.
So, yeah, we took the plate off, we did it, and it worked fine, and I was like, giddy up, let's do it. So we brought it home.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, man, $149. Pretty cool. Now, the thing that kind of threw me was, it looks like a rosewood fingerboard, but it's not rosewood. They're calling it amaranth. And when you look up close, it kind of looks like it sits somewhere between rosewood and purple heart. There's a lot of purple tint to the wood itself.
Is it wood?
It is wood.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely wood, but it's got some sort of purple tint to it. And it's it looks close enough to rosewood.
Well, it's amazing.
It doesn't sound as warm and sweet as rosewood.
Christ. I always just get a kick out of when they have these things with these regulations against rosewood. Oh, you can't find another damn dark wood. What the hell? People are nuts. Like I said about the whole thing with Ebonol. If I were manufacturing guitars, Ebonol would go on everything. I don't care. It's about the way it looks. It feels like wood, that Ebonol stuff. It feels like ebony. What the hell's the difference if it feels like ebony, but it lasts longer and it's dishwasher safe? I want to make a guitar where it says right on it, this guitar is dishwasher safe for the top rack. when people sit there and they're like, "Oh, I put lemon oil on the neck." Oh, you don't need lemon oil. What you need is fucking lemon cascade. Put it in the dishwasher and it's good.
It's so stupid. I like it.
It really is the dumbest thing ever.
It's Rich Light. They call it Rich Light.
Rich Light. That's Ebenol. It's the same shit. That's Rich Light is steak knife material.
It is. Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's Google Rich Light. Google. Let's see what happens when we.
All right. Here comes Rich Light. Certified paper-based composite material. Is it the same thing as Ebenol? Rich Light, Ebenol, Yeah, I don't know. Rich Light is a composite made of paper, so I guess it's close to wood in that regard.
No, that's what that is. Keep going.
Same thing as Ebenol? All right.
That's what steak knives are made of. Those steak knife handles. It's compressed paper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's very appealing and resistant to wear. That's just somebody on a forum that said that.
Right.
It was you.
And it can cut through a can and still slice a tomato.
Exactly.
It's used on the handles of the Ginsu.
Well, I had that Martin Jeff Tweedy for a while, and it was a really good guitar. I would not care if somebody put Ebenol on my fingerboard versus regular ebony. I'm sure it was
not
on
only
that
wouldn't
guitar.
You care if
fantastic.
no one said anything, you wouldn't know.
That's true.
That's
absolutely true.
The only way you would know is if you held it up sideways and you had like something so you could look at it. I don't know how good your eyes are, but like maybe something like a magnifying glass, you would see the lines of how it's compressed. Otherwise, you would never know the difference.
Yeah, I couldn't tell the difference, and I knew going into buying that guitar that it had a composite fingerboard.
Yeah, and in fact, I think that should be an option with Warmouth, and it probably will be at some point that they'll offer composites, and it should be cheaper because it's a very inexpensive process. It's very inexpensive compared to like buying rosewood, and rosewood doesn't look good. Rosewood hasn't looked good on a guitar. I mean, if you look at a lot of guitars on Gibson's site, and before we go any further, let me just say something about the Gibsons. We've been around for 100.
Here it is. Hello.
The Gibson site, you look at those guitars, and it's like, that is the ugliest fingerboard on a Les Paul. On an SG, it's like, it's not even brown. It's like a purplish light brown. It's a hue to it that is just unattractive. I think if you go to Warmouth, they sometimes have Indian rosewood that's nice and dark, and that looks good. But for the most part, to me, rosewood is unattractive. But you can make fake rosewood.
A lighter piece is not good.
No, it's awful looking.
You really do need a dark piece, and even then, like, it's not my preferred wood. I mean, I like ebony or I like maple. I like the look of it. I have an SG.
Look, it's all about the look. The other thing doesn't matter. You blindfold yourself. You're not being, be like,
right.
Oh, you're going to hear the rosewood. No. I like the only thing that's good about the rosewood, in all honesty, is the focused mids. Thank you.
I like the feel. I like the feel of the harder fingerboard wood, because you can clearly feel that with 6100s.
This guitar is made of Carina, which I'm told has more focused mids. Oh my God. That was an actual line from Trogley on Trogley's site.
That's hilarious.
Carina has more focused mids. Yeah, it's good. Thanks. Thanks for that. There's always that. We'll always have focused mids when we have that Carina guitar.
All right. So a minute ago, this is something that irritates the hell out of me. A minute ago, you were saying that my daughter is not going to be allowed at blues jams.
Yes.
Because of this guitar. Which I get. Why the snooty, stuck-up attitude toward any guitar product? You could take anybody who's trying to play guitar, and you could say, You use a Mesa Boogie? Those things sound like shit. I'm a Marshall guy. Or you could say, what is that? A Charvel Model 1? What year is that? From the 80s? That's terrible. You need to get a real guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean though? Like everybody out there's got like this vitriolic sort of opinion towards gear that they don't particularly want to use themselves, and they use it to hit people over the head with.
Well, it's funny because anytime anyone ever says to me, like the blues guys, that guy's using a pointy headstock guitar. I'm like, Jeff Beck played Jackson in the 80s. He had the pink Jackson. Don't want to rub it in your face, but you know.
I mean, James Burton wrote all that Elvis stuff on a King V. I'm just kidding.
Right.
But it's.
And who was the King V? Do you know? Did I ever ask you this? Do you know who the King V was actually built for?
Robin Crosby.
That's right, from Rat.
Ding, 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 ding. What do I win?
There we go. Hey, whoa, we've got some parting prizes. We have no. But yeah, Robin Crosby, I guess he was a real big guy.
Yeah, he's like 6'4" or something like that.
Yeah, and Grover Jackson said his nickname was King. And so when they came up with a flying V, the big flying V for him, it was the King V. That I guess didn't Dave Mustaine later kind of take that on as his guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's how we started talking about it with Mustaine playing King V's. He's like, well, it was actually designed for King, Robin Crosby.
Right.
Little trivia for you, folks.
Speaking of flying V toward these blues host, the pointy headstock Nazis, was it Albert King was a flying V guy?
Yes. And Johnny Winter played a Firebird, which is like a rock and roll metal looking guitar. Yeah. When I think of a Firebird, I always think of Paul Stanley playing the Firebird 1 that he repainted black for the Kiss Alive album. But I think of it as a metal guitar. And of course, now you see what's his name has had a signature one, which was very interesting. From the Cars, Elliot Easton had one. Flying V's, Michael Schenker played a Flying V that I always loved his Flying V's. Rudolph Schenker from the Scorpions.
Well, Elliot Easton used to also play a Cadillac.
Yes, he did. He played a Dean Cadillac. He played Strat, Telly, and Kramer made a guitar for him in the 80s too. They had a left-handed Elliot Easton model. And it was funny because in the Boston area around the late 80s, you couldn't go into a guitar shop without seeing one of Elliot Easton's used Kramers for sale, because I guess they must have given him a ton of them and he just traded them in for shit.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. My whole thing, I've got a bone to pick about this. My whole thing is if a younger person or anybody wants to get into the guitar, wants to start playing, why are you being so curmudgeon-y and shitty about it? Let them get into it the way they want to get into it so that there can be some growth and expansion into this, and they don't gravitate toward Ableton Live and a MIDI controller, which is what's happening with a lot of young people nowadays.
I want to say what we're talking about here parallels into another thing, and I want to talk about that with you and I as well. But yes, what happens is so my niece was here, as you know, and she was like, Uncle DL, will you teach me some chords? I showed her some chords, and she was really good right away. I was like, wow, that sounds clean. It's better than some of my students, and the girl's 10 years old. And so then I taught her how to play a song, and she was playing TNT by AC/DC and singing along. So Richard and I talked, and he was like, "Oh, I'll get her a guitar." Well, I showed her a couple of my guitars, and she always wanted to pick up the Strat. So I'm like, "All right, get her a Strat," because she likes, that's what she gravitates to. And when she got it, she was like, I said, "What do you think of the guitar?" She flipped. She's like, "It's the most perfect guitar." Like, she loves the Strat, and but it doesn't matter what they like. Whatever. Yeah, and thanks so much for getting that and doing that for her, John, because that was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is like, whatever somebody's interested in, support it, go for it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if someone likes, like your daughter loves heavy metal, and that's because her father plays it growing up, and you are an influence, and that's something that you could, nurture her to like, so she's like, she wants to learn that stuff. That's what she likes. She likes King's X, and she likes the pointy guitars, and that's who her heroes are. Look, the guys who, like, when I got a Les Paul, I wanted it to look like Jimmy Page because that was who I loved playing a Les Paul when I was a kid. Otherwise, I have no effing reason to own a Les Paul. I don't like them. I don't like the way they play, and I don't care. But it was mainly just for that. And so whatever gets you started and whatever gets you going, it needs to be nurtured. And these people that have like at the jams and they're like, oh, you got the solid state, it's not a tube. Now it's funny because Quilter is being accepted in the blues, around the blues people, as a decent solid state amp, but modeling amps they turn their nose to. And I take a modeling amp over any Quilter any effing day. Any day. In fact, I think the modeling amps are great. I don't even think they're good. I think they're great. And and then there's stuff like Kemper that does the similar thing to modeling. It's it's basically doing the technology of modeling, but you do it yourself.
Right.
With the tone cloning or whatever the hell they call it. But it's basically doing what a modeling amp does anyways. The other thing I was going to say is it's the same in the gun community. In the gun community, you have, like let's say you wanted to take your family to the range. And Melissa's like,
what's that? You guys go ahead and walk out there.
You set up the target, guys. But Dad, my shirt looks like a target. Take Melissa. You guys go out to the range.
Yeah.
And Melissa's like, oh, I'm so excited to learn. And she gets there and some guy's like, don't you dare look at me like that. You know how there's always a hard-on guy there, like, who acts like the most unfriendly, like, and then you call them on it. They're like, oh, we're just about safety. You can be safe without being an asshole.
Right.
Nobody needs the asshole, I was in the military, so I'm going to be a jerk. It's like, yeah. You want people to like guns and be accepting of then don't treat everybody that's new to it like a fucking asshole.
True.
And I've called so many people on that because it's like, if like, so when you go to a range, there'll be sometimes when they have to go down range and you have to put your gun down and you have to have the gun unloaded on the table and then you have to walk away from it because nobody in the place is going to be there while somebody, that's just the rules.
That's the rules.
If somebody's slow on doing it or brand new to the place, you're over there, put that down or you're never coming back in. They start screaming. Instead of walking up to the person and saying, hey, listen, this is what we have to do. We have to do this and it's for safety. And just talk to the person like a human being and be like, it's just for safety. We know, this is what happens. You got to put it down. And then we just want you to step back. The person would be like, oh my God, absolutely. But instead they walk over to you like, like Jimbo on South Park. They're taking our jobs. No, you know what I mean? They're like,
totally.
But they walk over to you with this attitude of like, and it's like, and I say to them all the time, and when I go to the gun shows too, if somebody has an attitude, I said, hey, listen, asshole. So many people, you guys want people to be pro-guns. They're not really against the guns. They're against douchebags like you with guns. Stop being a douchebag and treat people like you would if they'd be interested in it. And you'd find out that people actually are interested in it. They just don't like the people associated with it.
This is probably true. That's across any hobby. I think the point is don't be a dick to people.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Especially if it's something like we're trying to fight for our Second Amendment and we want. Okay, I get that. I'm with you on that. But let's not be douchebags to people who don't know the rules yet. Explain to them like a human being. Hey, listen, we put this down. Is it going to make anything different if you take an extra 2 minutes before the guy walks out into the into the firing area? To take an extra 2 minutes to talk to somebody to explain what's going on and why we do things? I don't think so. And it's just the whole issue. It's a turnoff. What it does is it breeds other people to do the same thing, because what happens is if a person starts going and then they feel like, I'm part of this club too, I know the rules and I'm going to be a jerk to people. It breeds other people to be assholes.
I will give LA people some credit right now, because I will say I don't see that much.
Once at the Oak Tree Gun Club, which is
I know where that is. That's up in the mountains, kind of.
Yeah, Newhall.
Yeah.
And just once, but you're 100% right. In LA, it is so chill. Here in Massachusetts, it's douchebag central. It is just,
that's
every
too bad.
place has like these strict. They're just dicks. They're just dicks, and it's just like.
Can I point out something funny? This is gonna. This always makes me laugh when I go to the range. Now, there needs to be a distinction. I don't actually criticize the guy or try and make him feel bad about himself, because he already feels bad enough about himself. If you're one of those guys that's going to the range and you've got some ridiculous like muzzle loader from 1801, oh, you are hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy.
Some of those guys are like historians, and they're like, they want to go out and see what it was like, how those guys fired, but yeah, that's not the fun of it for me.
So me and my buddy Chris go to the range up in I don't know, it's up in the hills. I can't remember what it's called. It's
Reseda?
Not Oak Tree. No, it's an outdoor.
The firing line? Oh.
It's an outdoor range up in the mountains. I don't remember what it's called, but we go there, and inherently there's always somebody that has like this, either something really complex, like a really well thought out AR that has all of the goodies attached to it, or there's a guy that has like the old muzzle loader. Either way, me and Chris are there with 9mm or 45s or whatever, and we're hitting the outdoor, like the little metal plates that they have, and
I love it.
Ding, ding,
yeah,
ding, right? And then you hear out of nowhere, boom, and you're like, what the hell was that? And you look, and you see all these acrid smoke coming up, and it's some guy with a musket. And then following the enormous boom, you hear no ting, and you hear son of a bitch. And then like 3 minutes later, because that's how long it takes to get it all recharged, and here it comes again. Boom, this giant thing, and again, no ping. You just see the guy getting super mad. Oh, I've seen that happen a couple times, and it just makes me die inside. It's so funny.
Yeah, there are some people that bring like some heavy artillery to the range. There was a guy, he was shooting once, and with my headset on, I had my earplugs on, and this guy's shooting, and I'm like, that is like right in my ear, and he's at the furthest lane from me. And I walked over to him. I said, I got to find out, what are you shooting? Because that is loud. It was a Glock 20, which is a 10mm.
A 10.
And I'm like, why would you buy that? He's like, I always wanted a 10mm. It's my, it's like, I would love to carry one. I'm like, what are you shooting bear? Like, it's just the most ridiculous round. And it was so loud. It was just obnoxious. But anyways, it happens in the music community far too much. People are like, oh, you're using pedals? I don't need to use pedals. Hey, you don't need to. Nobody needs to, but you should, because you sound like shit. Everyone has like this attitude of like, I'm a truist, or I don't like pointy headstock guitars. And it's just douchebag attitudes. It's like, just let people live. Like, what do you care if somebody wants to play a Jackson? I love the old Jackson soloists. I love the old Kramer Berettas. They were great guitars. Yeah. Fun to play. The Kamikaze by ESP is a fantastic guitar. You can do a lot of things with them, and a Strat's a great guitar. But it's like,
at the end of the day, what you're really doing is you're taking somebody's personality, somebody's personal choice, and you're telling them that their personality is bad, or wrong, or whatever you want to say. Because really, what the hell is the difference between a Jackson soloist and a Fender Strat? The real difference coming through the speaker is one has a humbucker and one has a single coil.
Sure. But you can get a hum single
yeah,
Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. But like in that person's hands, there's not really going to be that much of a tonal difference between the two things. The only difference is
no, of course not. And you can't listen to an album and tell me, oh, that's a Jackson. Oh, that's a Dean. I mean, listen to we talked about Elliot Easton. You're going to tell me you can hear the difference between when he plays a Les Paul and a Dean Cadillac? No effing way.
Right.
No way.
Yeah. I just say, for young people that are interested, because, this is what I've been thinking about a lot lately, because the last two people that I know who have, either purchased or been given guitars is two young girls.
Right.
Zoe and Kaylee are the last two.
Right.
And I think it's fantastic that girls are getting into it as much as they are these days, but also that, they have the styles that they want to get, and they were able to get them without their dads getting involved and saying like, no, we got to do it this way.
Now, there's a great video about it's a guy, and I don't know his name. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. He's from the South. Him and his wife do videos together, guitar videos. Have you seen this guy?
Is it the guy who did the video where he gets blindfolded and says, I can tell you who's a girl and who's not?
That's the video I was going to just bring up.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was a really, really funny video.
Not only is it funny, but he's right, because the guy, he called it. I mean, look.
I love how he's like, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this.
Yeah. Right. But he was right.
He was right. Like what? Like 95% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, he got one wrong. He's dead on. And he got one wrong probably because he was more like thinking about the political ramifications of people giving him a hard time if he's right. You know what I mean? I felt like he was kind of siding on the right one there, and then he picked the wrong one, but I kind of felt like he did that. It felt like on purpose to me. But, the whole thing about like, look, I'm all for, the whole PC thing for me, and, we don't really talk politics on here, and I don't intend to. But the whole PC thing for me is like, if somebody is qualified for the job, nobody gives a shit. If you're a male, female, black, white, yellow, green, blue, it does not matter. And we get to a real bad place when everyone starts saying, well, women gotta, we gotta do this for women, and we should have more women working there. Why? There are more women working for, when I walk through Macy's at the mall, there were more women working at the beauty area where the makeup is. And at no point do I sit there and say, there needs to be more men working here. Men don't wear makeup. They're probably not qualified. Therefore, you get the people who are qualified, And I just think that we just need to somehow get back to some sort of common sense reality of maybe someone's not hiring somebody for their sex, for their age, maybe.
I believe that there probably are people out there who are
babies.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people out there who are sexist, racist. It's just not. It's not you or I, but I mean, shit. At West LA, how many women did we have working in the guitar department? I mean, Christina was there, and then what was that other girl's name?
Victoria.
Victoria was there. We had a staff where at any given point in time there were, aside from you and I, there were only like two other salespeople on the floor at any given time, and that would have, sometimes been two different women.
Yeah, if they're qualified and
I don't think it ever even crossed my mind to be like, she's a chick, she can't do
it. But they bring it up as though this is a problem, and it's like, well, is it a problem? Like, let's put it this way. Let's say your daughter has something wrong go with her, and now she needs surgery. Would you rather know that the hospital got the best surgeon, whether that be male or female, or that they had to fill a quota?
Well, of course.
That's the problem. And that should transcend into everything. Anywho, that's all I just wanted to say about that. So when it comes to like women and guitars, whatnot, I mean, it's awesome to see them play music, but it's always been that way. I mean, There's a lot of bands in the 70s that were guys that were good, but Heart was a great band.
So that's another thing I could bring up with her. I have consciously picked out some of the most iconic female musicians of all time and said, check this out. And she has systematically shot down almost all of them.
Yeah. You like what you like.
Preferring something else. And I find that to be surprising. You know, like I told you before, I was really trying to get her into Heart.
Right.
You know, she's gone through and heard some of the best Aretha that you can get. She's heard Bonnie Raitt. She's heard Alison Krauss. You know, all of these things, and she's constantly just like.
I thought you said she heard good stuff. Bonnie Raitt. Ugh.
Well, I'm trying to find women. Oh, dude, I can't make you love me.
The George Michael version is far superior. Only because he's a guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you know what though? I'll tell you. I was a big Cocteau Twins fan, as you know, so I love Liz Fraser from Cocteau Twins. But you got Pat Benatar,
right? She
was good.
She's heard Pat Benatar. She's heard.
Cyndi Lauper.
She's heard Cyndi Lauper. She likes that because every young girl likes girls just want to have fun or girls just want to have lunch.
And She Bop.
Yeah, that one she hasn't heard yet. Time After Time, she knows.
True Colors.
Ooh, yeah, we know that one. She knows the Justin Timberlake one of those though. That was from.
Hold on, what's the other song? We have no right. We don't make it through the night. Remember that Cyndi Lauper song?
No, keep singing.
Yeah, right. There is no end. All through the night. All through the night. Cyndi Lauper's song. They know why? That's because you're young. Because that was a huge hit when she came out.
Yeah. No, I can't say I know that one. But it is funny. It's funny that she doesn't really gravitate toward any of that stuff. And it's not like somebody who's 18 years old who's been hard and fast familiarized with only the male stuff that I listen to. I mean, she's still a kid and she's been hearing this stuff mixed in for years. And it just doesn't connect. For whatever reason, she's got her preference.
Right. Well, everybody does.
Right. But you can't come out and say like, no, you have to listen to at least 50% women. Because she's just going to be like, that's not what I'm into.
And there are some people who will listen to only women.
Which is totally fine.
And it's like, whatever. It's like, it's all good. Whatever. Like, if someone said to me, hey, it's women music this week, you have to listen to all women groups, I would love the hell out of it. There's some great, like I said, I love Cocteau Twins. I didn't love the Cranberries. They were okay. But the Sundays I loved. She was a great singer. And Tina Weymouth played bass in the Talking Heads. They don't have to be in the lead. They don't have to be in the lead position. Karen Carpenter was on drums and lead vocals.
Oh, I just realized there is a woman's song that she loves.
What's that?
And isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, she loves that song. So there's one in there.
Wait, what's the other song? Hand in My Pocket.
Right.
That follows all the chords that I had mentioned earlier with the G. I think it has an F in the bass. You can, instead of going to the C, you can bring it down to the fourth string F with the G.
Right.
And you have that. And that song you can play, because that was one that I taught to the early ons who loved the Alanis Morissette stuff.
Okay. I'll have to give it a listen and screen the lyrics. Because I know there's the other one where will he go down on you in a theater? I don't need to go down on you. Ask me again when you're 37.
Exactly.
So I got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's what I got this week.
Very good.
We're going to do some guitar lessons and try not to criticize the hell out of anybody that's got a rounded headstock guitar.
Yeah, right.
What do you got going on? You got gigs?
Well, it's funny because Mark Agnesi would always mock the hipster doofuses that love the the Jaguar, the offset guitars. He would call it the hipster guitar. You know what I mean? So it's like everyone kind of has their own thing about what people like. Yeah, this week I have a gig on Thursday. I'm playing. I went live on last Thursday. I'm not going to go live, but I am going to record it. And then I'll post it over the weekend after I edit it, because then the sound will be better. There'll be more bandwidth.
Right.
And then Saturday I'm playing AM Station, a private gig. It's like I think it's like a fundraiser gig or something that we're doing.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll be good. So I have 2 gigs this weekend.
Nice. All right. I'm not
per usual.
Yeah, I'm not gigging until April, but
oh wow, okay.
We've got quite a few coming. The summertime is probably going to be busy with Elvis.
Nice.
So, yeah, man.
I'm trying to get my bands possibly down to the casinos in Connecticut and do some of those bigger shows down there.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so I have a Friday I'm not performing, just Thursday and Saturday. And Friday I'm going to meet with a friend of mine, the friend that was playing at the casino, because he's going to put me in touch with some of these. And yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun, especially for the funk band. Would be great for, like, there's a place at Foxwoods that really would do well with it, with people dancing. It's in an open bar in the like in the middle of the hotel, in the middle of the casino, there's like a bar in the middle, and it has a huge stage. Sure. And it would just be so much fun, and I could see everybody having a good time. And I think I'm going to film the next Funk Station show as well. I'm just looking for a second background singer, which I got to reach out to somebody today about.
Emily
sings lead in it.
Oh, she does.
Yeah, she's the lead singer.
I didn't know that. All right, very good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap it up. And
yeah, it's actually Emily's band. She's the singer. It's all based around here. When I met Emily, I met her. I went to
like a Stevie Nicks
what happened
situation.
No, what happened was I went to a blues jam because a friend of mine was doing the last show of the summer, and he's like, "We're doing one last show. You're gonna come out." I said, "All right, I'll come out." And it just so happened one of my students' band was playing. And he was like, "Oh, you remembered I was playing?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I remembered." Meanwhile, I had no idea.
Student's never going to come back after he watches this episode.
Oh, no, he knew after. I said to him after, I said, I had no idea. He goes, "Really?" I told you. I said, "I don't remember anything." I said, "It just so happened that Jim asked me to come out, so I came out." So Emily was there, and she performed, and I walked up to her afterwards, and I said, "Hey, great set. You sounded great. But what are you singing blues for?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "With a voice like yours, you should be doing R&B. Have you heard of acid jazz?" She says, "No." I said, "Well, we were friends on Facebook." I said, "Let me send it to you. I'll send you some songs." So I send her some songs, and then we started talking. And I said, "Listen, I'll put a band together for you, but I have no time to do another band." So we did that, and I found a guitar player and everyone else. And I'm like, you know what? There's no way I'm finding a bass player that can cut the mustard. I'll do the bass. And that's how it basically started. And then, after the first show, we realized some of the songs, the ambition of some of the stuff was like, even though it was with good intentions, it's more of the original focus that I wanted that really worked, which was like making it a funk band. Because we started doing stuff like Donny Hathaway's The Ghetto, and we did a Lenny Kravitz song, and we did a Stone song, and the periphery stuff doesn't work. It has to be right down the pipe. So we added songs like "Don't Leave Me This Way" by Thelma Houston, and we added "Blame It on the Boogie" by the Jacksons, and "All Night Dance." So it's a much funner set now, and I just got one backup singer now that plays flute. So she plays flute on some songs and backup sings, and I just need to line up one more backup singer.
Cool. Right on.
It'll be great. Otherwise, I got to get moving because I have to go teaching. I want to get my my oil changed. So.
Right on, man. Very good. Good show today. Looking forward to many more. Folks, don't forget to check out our Instagrams and feel free to find my, what's it called? My YouTube channel.
It's what is your YouTube channel called?
Just my name, just John Bingham. No H in the first name.
No, I think there's a letter in there.
JONBINGHAM.
No, I think isn't there a letter between?
Mm-mm. Unless you can you look it up via like my Google account?
It is your Google account. What is your URL? Go to your channel and tell me what the URL is. I think it's John P. Is it P middle initial?
Yeah, that's my middle initial.
I think it's John P. Bingham.
Really? That's how you find it? Because I'm pretty sure that if you just type in the John Bingham, it's...
maybe.
I'm the first profile that pops up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you haven't subscribed to Guitar Talk at Dave's Guitar channel, by all means subscribe, because this isn't the only thing that Dave's doing. He's got a lot of really useful, not only like guitar lessons and guitar solo lessons, but just other opinions and rants and all kinds of stuff. So if you stumbled upon this and you haven't, subscribe to Dave's Guitar channel.
Yes.
And then if you feel like it, find me. Like I said, you can just find me at John Bingham.
Oh, yeah. See, when I hit John Bingham, it's you. But if I look up at the URL, it'll say youtube.com/user/John P. Bingham.
Oh, got it. Yeah. But yeah, I've got some new stuff coming, just so you guys know, and so you know, DL. I'm gonna do 2 videos this week. One of them is going to be on this little tiny Jackson for kids that are looking for little guitars. And
nice. And you're gonna perform it on your knees, and you're gonna put your sneakers where your knees are, so you look like Dorf on golf.
That's not a bad idea.
I think that's what you should do.
I've got Warwick Davis coming over to fill the role of Kaylee Bingham.
Guys, you don't know how good the Warwick Davis reference is. His movie, that TV show they did, Life's Too Short, is one of the greatest comedies of all time. If you guys are not familiar, I think it's on HBO.com. It's called Life's Too Short, and it's the greatest series ever.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do a utilitarian pedal board thing. Well, I think that a lot of people will show you all their pedals and this and that, but I've got some tips and tricks, some hacks, if you will.
Ooh, tips and tricks, everybody.
Yeah, as to how to manage your cabling and your power and things to make sure that your cables last longer. Really, let's keep your pedal board together. DL and I have talked about a lot of this stuff on this show, but yes. I'm just going to do a video. So that's going to happen. And kid, what was the name of the music video that we used to watch at West LA Music with Corky from Life Goes On?
When he did Celebrate?
You gotta end this episode by cutting that in.
Oh no, you kidding me? I'll be on the hit list. Corky singing Celebrate.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
There's also another one where he sings Food is nutritious, food is delicious. That's another great one too.
All right, we're gonna get in trouble.
Doesn't he also rap on the episode of Life Goes On? He raps. He does like a rap of like not 911 is a joke, but it's something. It's a Public Enemy song. He's rapping. The guy's a whiz. Terribly gifted.
It really is phenomenal. And before we get completely demonetized and your show gets like torn off the airwaves here, let's roll.
Very good. Very good, everybody.
See ya.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.